Hey everybody, welcome to Thursday Thoughts, and more importantly, happy 4th of July. For all of you that were around when it started, good for you. But most of you haven't seen every season of 4th of July. I've seen 49 of them now. How about you, Bobby? How many 4th of Julys have you watched?
Enough. Get a gun,
Yeah.
kill a British person. That's how you send a message today.
No, because they did that one time, but to be honest with you, Bobby, that didn't happen on the 4th of July.
No, today you write a strongly worded letter that takes 2 more months to get to the King of England and doesn't really do anything until then.
Right. And then, but with it, you write, and then the guy writes back and goes, wait, do you mean like minorities? And he's like, they're like, what are those? What does that even mean?
King of England just responded, "Nuck if you buck."
Yeah. Yeah, and then they were like, is that an English term, or are you a rapper? And he's like, I don't even know what the second thing is. That's kind of like the first thing I mentioned. They're like, oh yeah, they'll be good
Triple
at that.
Yeah, exactly.
I always
That's how
knew
we're gonna
the
get
Tea
them
Party was
money.
fucked up. I always knew the Tea Party was fucked up just because with all the water around there, Native Americans would have dominated the water. They were like the Michael Phelps of first people. You know what I mean? Like they really took to the streams well. So like if it was all just near the water, they would have been in there. That's why he knew they were white guys. So like we're not gonna get our makeup dirty.
That is a that is a really solid point.
They did Indian face, which is crazy.
Yeah, and like it does kind of feel like when the nerd beats you by hacking your computer at the game, you're like, I am physically better at all of this than you. And
All
then
of
all of
this.
a sudden it's like, oh wait, you got diseases? Sorry, son.
Yeah, all of a sudden that the Bad News Bears music comes on. You're like, oh no, and then the fucking losers somehow overcome. The Boston Tea Party was basically Meatballs, the movie. If you've ever seen that movie, it's where like the dorks from a camp got together. It's like we'll overcome it, and then they get to keep the camp. But in reality, the guys who had the camp were like, we're losing money. We don't care. It's hard to manage it from so far away. You could have just had the camp. You literally could have just been like, hey, can we just run it? And they've been like, you know what? Yeah, that's fair. Like, if we show up once, I'll bow down. They'll be like, all right, yeah, we'll bow down. Because, like, right now, I don't like either governments, but man, the English one is more fun. I used
They
to make fun of the whole fake royalty and then like Meghan Markle's and all that shit, Princess Di and all that. But I'd rather that than the Trump Biden shit.
I hate both of them. I don't like
Yeah,
authority. I don't like anybody in charge telling me what to do. I've spent, as you pointed out, Pat, 32 4th of July's figuring out what I think is the best way to approach a situation. Then we got some guy who either shits himself or is so inbred he looks like this. Durr! That's Prince Williams.
right. But that being
Actually, Prince
said, the reason
Williams would
why
be sick.
the privilege, in all seriousness, the privilege that we have, and this is why we can celebrate 4th of July and our independence, the privilege that we have to say out loud, you and I are two morons on a not watched podcast to go like, I hate authority. Most of this world can't do that. So I will say thanks for being not the worst dictator overlords. Because a lot of people, one guy just goes, I don't like it when you kill my wife. And then they're like, but it's okay, now you won't know. So like the fact that we can every day be like, Joe Biden's old and sucks and he's stupid and he's going through like a terrible thing. Like if anyone in your life went through dementia, you would be so mad at people on the news were like, boo, fuck you.
He sniffs
It's like,
kids. He sniffs everything. He's a snake now. He lost all other senses.
you're old and everything sucks and your son's going through terrible times and really needs help. Boo.
But you can't foster the emotional capacity to give him the advice and mentorship he really needs because you're suffering from dementia. Boo!
Your wife isn't a real doctor. Boo.
Your other wife and son died in a tragic traffic accident, forcing you to take trains as your main use of transportation. Boo!
Blacks only like you because of the street credit you got from riding the coattails of a cool black guy at the time. Boo.
I mean, To be fair, that is the dream. That is the American dream summed up is that black people think you're cool because you wrote a cool black dude's coattails.
Or
Eminem.
even the other people. Fuck you, orange guy, for being loud, speaking your mind. You know, all the things that we wish we could be, especially if you're from New Jersey. Boo!
How dare you fuck that girl I've jerked off to and thinking about fucked a bunch of times. You piece of shit.
Yeah, boo! How dare you do a thing that we knew was coming because all your wives are fucking former Miss Universe pageant winners. Boo!
How dare you exercise the reason everybody wants to get rich, and then you get rich and you actually do it. Boo.
Fuck you for fucking leaving a business and learning how to fucking make money, even if it was sometimes illegal and loopholes. You know, the thing that made America in the first place, that started fucking the Tea Party, finding ways around shit to be better, and then stopping doing all that and deciding I'll try to run the country the way we ran businesses because I'm not happy and I could just hide like everyone else. Boo!
I know when you technically think about it, the Boston Tea Party was a felony exploiting loopholes because the people were just like, what if we threw the tea in the ocean instead of paying taxes? But now you do it in real life and it's a problem. Boo. That one was too long.
It was fine. It was a good ending to a fun little thing there. But yeah, the fact that we get to do all that is pretty fucking cool. So, like, I'll take that on 4th of July. Now, Thursday Thoughts, for those who are seeing this on YouTube or seeing this on our Facebook fan page today, you're fucking welcome. Happy 4th of July. That's us, like, kind of giving you a little, we know you're sitting around at 10 a.m. You don't got fireworks yet. You might not be drunk yet. You might not be grilling yet. Some of you that are working later on to get to have some fun and laugh too. This is exclusive just to Patreon for our members there. For $3 a month, you get all our content plus this show as well. What we do with this show is we take one subject we covered earlier in the week from our Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday shows, and we deep dive into one subject with it. So we do that every Thursday. It usually shows up in the afternoon on Thursdays. It's not usually a live one. It is live, obviously, on Patreon, but nowhere else. But today, we put it on here. So if you don't like that, if you thought you had Thursday off from us, boo! You don't get Thursday off. So that's it. But yes, hello, Kevin. How are you, my friend? Happy to see you here. I literally 5 minutes before we decided to do the show, I said, fuck it. I put it up on YouTube. So I know a lot of you won't know that. We're not really doing it for like everyone to join in. If you do, great. But if not, we're just doing it because we put this out for our patrons. But we wanted everyone to kind of see it. What we've been covering this week, a lot of fun stories. And there was a bunch I could have chosen from. But Hawk Tuah is the girl, the hot girl of the hour. And everyone's talking about her. She's an overnight sensation because she yelled out something crazy. We talked about how they're trying to roll her into more of a career, as they do a lot of times. So basically getting more into who else were one-hit wonders that kind of lasted the test of time, or did not last it at all. Who were the people that, that we now know because of one stupid thing. And then maybe get into the idea of what if Bobby and I tried to figure out how to become one-hit wonders and see if we could roll with that. Penthouse hired her. Yeah, well, they hire everyone. What's up, Dominic? Shit Tuah. Put your butthole in that thing.
That.
It's just butthole. I know you said butthole. I like butthole better. It sounds like a great wrestling move. I'm a wrestling fan. Give me the old butthole. But yeah,
It's a woman everybody loses to on purpose. They're like, oh no, she got me in the butthole.
but she can't beat women because you can't hold anything with your butt.
But you can beat men. Lots of men get beaten.
I want to celebrate a real American, fucking Kish. Good morning, Kish. Happy 4th of July, my friend. How are you? I hope Dominic, Kevin, all you guys have the greatest or worst 4th, whatever you want. That's your American right.
And I'd like to thank Kish, because if he hadn't crossed that cold Delaware River one morning, we'd still be saluting the British royalty.
Okay, we don't need to shit on his age. He's a couple years older than me. Fuck you. My 4th of July, I don't have any plans because I'm gonna leave doing this with you, and then shortly after go be on WPLR. So I'm working. I had to take off from my new job to go work my other second job to get ready, because tomorrow my third job is a comedy show right after my other thing, and I'm working all weekend on my other stuff. But I figured I'd have some fun with you guys here. But yeah, Hawk Tuah, as you guys, if you don't know, she was interviewed at one of those drunken people on the street things, and they asked her how you take care of stuff. She said, Hawk Tuah, you got to spit on that thing, and everybody just jumped on that and went nuts. And I get it. It was a funny thing, a crazy thing for a young girl to say. It was wild and fun. She became big. Bobby, if you had to just come up top of your head without thinking of anybody, who's your number one? You know, they were nobody. All of a sudden, we knew who they were, and they were shoved down our throats. It can't just be kind of we know. Like America for a minute, and we don't know Tuah's name. I mean, you can look it up. We know it, but you know what I mean. Like the world didn't know her real name. But can you think of somebody like that where you're like, oh shit, this person out of nowhere is being talked about like crazy?
So I think without doing the meme everybody's doing, that might be a good. Have you seen like we need to assemble a team of unique individuals where it's
No, jump into it because I haven't seen it, and that does not help. I mean, don't always assume that our audience reads memes. You know what I mean?
No,
so yeah, go for it.
But I think that's a good jumping point because it's like Tuah. Then you've got the girl. That man is not fucking real on a plane. Remember that one?
She's not on my list. I wouldn't. I don't know if I'd say her overnight because what I'm trying to say is it's the people that tried to roll with it.
Okay. Well, then
we just knew she was, but like that's also saying that like every murderer for a day you're like Jeffrey Dahmer. I didn't know who he was, and one day all of a sudden, but he didn't turn it into like a speaking career. So yeah, girl pointing at a plane really lost her mind, but we never really heard from her. She didn't really do shit. Like Kevin said, Penthouse signed her. This girl's got management now. People like example, the ultimate example of this is Kim Kardashian. We now think of her as a famous staple, but she really did just have a sex tape with Ray J. And when that got out there, and a lot of people feel like that, her people leaked it out there. She did have famous family, but no one knew. Believe me, as an adult at the time, no one knew who the fuck the Kardashians were. No one was speaking about the lawyers besides Johnny Cochran from that case. No one knew about these guys, Robert Kardashian, shit like that. I mean, if you were involved in law or whatever, but like they weren't known.
They weren't regular household names.
Kim Kardashian went the Pamela Anderson route, but Pamela Anderson had that tape come out way after her fame. So like it was different. Like all of a sudden that's when people started to hear Paris Hilton and Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
But Paris Hilton, at least, she might come out of nowhere, but the Hilton name was big. She was such a socialite. She was her and Lionel Richie's daughter were so big that before she even like got famous first, they kind of just went after Fox TV, had their TV show where they were out there, and then they went up there and made It's Hot and all that shit. So they kind of like were built to be that way. Kardashian was like hotter and sexier than them, and therefore when the tape came out, everyone's like, we need more of this, and then people wanted to know about them. So and then they rolled it into an empire. That's the greatest example of this.
Yeah, this is a much lesser level of that, but the lead singer of Journey, who went viral for singing his karaoke that sounded exactly like the lead singer of Journey right after the singer died, and now is the lead singer of Journey.
Right. Like, I mean, the Chinese
much
guy,
smaller version. Yeah, Philippines, whatever.
When you say lead singer of Journey, to be clear, if people don't know, Steve Perry obviously is the lead singer of Journey, but when he left the band, they had to get another one. They basically made that movie with Mark Wahlberg. With Mark Wahlberg about it. So yeah, because if you say that, there are people that don't even realize that Journey's still a band. Like, it's not like Journey now puts out new songs with this guy. They just cover all the other shit. So a lot of people don't even know.
So you're right. They're terrible. He is no Steve Perry, that's for sure. That said, Mark Wahlberg dropped off in Thailand or wherever they found this dude would be a great movie. The opposite, where they just dump him into their country and he's running around blinding them all.
Well, no, I think Mark Wahlberg would go there and then become the lead singer of some Taiwan fucking supergroup. And then you find out later his backstory. Like, oh my God, it's crazy. But, okay, Honey Boo Boo.
Yeah, same with JoJo Siwa.
It was a TV show that people were kind of watching, but her name became the punchline to everything. Every time you're gonna make fun of a little fat girl, whatever, you calling gross people Honey Boo Boo. Same way Precious, but Precious was a movie, so that's not a real person. But the same way where that you found sometimes when people that want to be funny or want to be bullies just get that one name they can use, it's over. And you got Honey Boo Boo. You can say it to any little fat kid, okay, Honey Boo Boo. And you didn't even need to know what the show was about or what was going on. I mean, and she did try to roll it into a thing, and she had her own shows based off it. Here Comes Honey Boo Boo, all this other thing on TLC, and went with it, and they pushed it and went as far as they could with that. But literally, it was just one day when they said the name, and it was on a show that wasn't just about her. It was, what was that, Toddlers and Tiaras. When she was on that, yep. That's where she became that overnight sensation from that. And it was like, oh shit, we need more of this fat bitch.
You're 100% on. I think she kind of started the first leg of the relay and took that baton and passed it to the JoJo Siwa chick from Dance Moms,
Well,
because it was the same
JoJo right
thing.
now is still JoJo literally is in it, just like Tuah is. Like JoJo right now is trying to have a music career and go farther than it. I don't I don't believe JoJo became as popular as Honey Boo Boo in the grandma test, where like if you said the two names to people, your grandma go, "I've heard of a Honey Boo Boo. Wasn't that the one, the guy who liked the sweets that hung out with Yogi Bear?" It's like, well, no, but that's a
Close
different
enough.
meal altogether, right? But they kind of would get what it is. But JoJo Siwa, I don't. Still, kind of people are like, who? Like, I don't really even know. I just know that she's now in my TikTok feed sometimes when she's trying to force out the same. Most people sharing, oh, this is awful thing, and she thinks it's great, and the weird dances and stuff. But it's almost like they're forcing this train wreck on me. But like, she definitely is what you're saying. She's a one hit wonder. I mean, a one overnight sensation that did it. But I think that was more. I think they watched the model of Honey Boo Boo, and then that was constructed. It feels like it.
And I think that's a very solid point. We're starting to see the two different sides. Like the organic happened overnight, and then like the force trying to plan to make something happen, like you see with JoJo. Even with the like you were pointing out with the Kardashians, like Paris had her thing. She didn't have a whole plan in place afterwards. Like Kim K's mom put there, where this is the first step, this is the second step, this is the third step. Like
Who didn't
so,
have plan?
I don't think Paris's one night in Paris was as formalized as the Kardashians. Like this is how we become an empire. Like she had the
But
simple
that
life and all that stuff.
the difference is, I remember timeline wise, One Night in Paris came out shortly after Simple Life. So we already knew who she was, and then we wanted the sex tape. Kim Kardashian didn't have the Kardashians first. The sex tape is the launch. Ray J's penis is the launch.
I mean, that's a hell of a pad to launch off of.
Yeah, I think I've told you this story, but the radio station I work for, and she talks about it, so I'm not saying anything bad. I'm not gonna say her name out loud, but there's a woman that works there, and she's in charge of our which all our like events and outgoing things. Like if we have like special events where we need to have like even if like in the place itself, it's like if we're having like a party for like everyone's birthday, gets the cakes and all the things, whatever. But if we're having a huge event, like we did Sound on Sound, the huge music thing, she was in charge of all the tents and all the VIP groups and all that thing. She's just one of those people that gets all that exclusive kind of crazy shit, and she does shit awesomely. But when she was younger, her job was one of her jobs. She was a seat filler for award shows. So she would be like if like J Lo had to get up and go to the bathroom and they didn't want that seat empty at the MTV Music Awards, she'd be in a hot dress. She's a tiny little cute Puerto Rican girl, and they would put her in the seat, and she would sit there, and you'd see her on TV going, "Oh, what the fuck?" And she got to meet not so much all the famous people, but would be famous people adjacent because she would meet the handlers and people of all the famous people being at these things and get to know people and got phone numbers and contacts and stuff. And when the Ray J Kim Kardashian video came out, her and two of her friends that are girls were watching it, and she looked at it and said, "Oh, I want some of that." And the girl goes, "Well, I have Ray J's number." And she goes, "Okay." So she texted him and said, "I saw the video. What's up?" And she got to go make her own. She didn't make a video, but she got to have her own Ray J experience because she watched the video, wanted what she wanted, and went and got it and hung out for a little. Now, that part of the story, I believe 100% she was telling the story, whatever. The second part, I'm not sure because then one day, I guess Ray J's like, "I want to kind of do a threesome thing, whatever. And I've got someone's famous coming. You gotta keep your mouth shut, whatever." And she got there, and it was a very cracked out Whitney Houston. And Whitney was gonna do something, and I guess Bobby Brown, even though they were broken up, showed up and kind of was like, "Get the fuck out! What are you doing here?" And got her out of there. But she almost had a threesome with Ray J and Whitney Houston.
I love how the first part of the threesome story was you got to keep your mouth shut. Apparently, she did not fail that part.
Well, Whitney's dead, so.
I also like it cracked out Bobby Brown because they weren't young at this point, right? Like, what are you gonna do with Ray J?
Well, I'm guessing weapons and an entourage. At that point, I would guess even with failing down, Bobby Brown had a better entourage of thugs than Ray J did.
You know what? That you're probably not wrong there. I don't think Ray J's ever been accused of being like a real gangster rapper.
Oh yes, Kish, I forgot. Good luck to you're right, our friend George will be eating the hot dogs going today. No competition from Joey Chestnut. No Joey Chestnut. I don't even think the Spider Lady, the whatever is going to be there. She might.
Spider Lady.
What was she called? She's like the most known female eater.
Kobayashi? I think that's a
No,
dude.
it's because it's not that person, Bobby. People are gonna know. Kids will probably say it right away. It's Spider something, or it's got a name like that. She's got like a badass nickname, and it's like Black Widow or something of that nature, like a Spider name, where she's like super well known. But good luck to George. He's a big man with a red beard and
A bigger heart.
Irish as a motherfucker. Black Widow is the Asian chick. Thank you, Dominic. See, I'm correct. I know. And Dominic is the number one source for all Pat Oates' ramblings. So he knows. He always checks it for me and knows. By the way, Terry Nee, I don't see him in here. Terry Nee commented on our YouTube channel yesterday saying to us, hey, what do I have to do? Give you my phone number? I don't know when the fuck you guys are on anymore. So I responded back with, don't worry, man. We're always on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday on YouTube. 3:30 p.m. Thursdays we're just on the Patreon. And then we went on at 10 a.m. today on YouTube. So I'm sorry, Terry. My bad. We love you, buddy. Honey Boo Boo, Kim Kardashian. I'll say a name and you go ahead. Nope, you go.
I've got a failure. He tried to be the one-hit wonder, tried to parlay it into internet fame and success.
He tried to be a one-hit wonder or was a one-hit wonder and couldn't parlay it?
One couldn't parlay it.
All right.
He was one, could not parlay it. And that was
I was saying, you and I both tried to be a one-hit wonder and it failed. We can't parlay it. So
I punched multiple times. But no, it was the bagel guy. Bagel Boss. You remember him?
He does fit this category 100%. He does. He's exactly what we're talking about. Everyone knew the Bagel Boss, not Bagel Guy, but the Bagel Boss. That was his name. The Bagel Boss became an overnight thing where it was memes and everything. And then, yeah, he tried to. I don't think Hawk 2 is going to make it. I don't think Hawk 2 is going to, like, 10 years from now, be hosting on Fox News. Like, I don't think he's going to roll this into a career or something. Like, I guess, do we count reality show people? Because Bagel Boss is not that. Like, if we do that, I mean, we're going to have something in here. And they're making fun of the failures, but, like, Kelly Clarkson is one of the greatest examples of who the fuck were you? And then she rolled it into quite the career. You can say what you want about her, but my God, albums after albums. And I know some of the other ones after, but she was the staple for it. Once she was able to make it into being in a movie or two, having her own talk show, all that, people saw that, oh, if you go on this show, you can just use it for those couple of years it was there. And like Carrie Underwood happens because Kelly Clarkson happened.
There's no Carrie without Kelly, 100%.
Right, but if you think about the biggest stars, yes, Jennifer Hudson was a tremendous singer who didn't need to be on that show. Jennifer Hudson would have been found. Jennifer Hudson would have been discovered. The other one, I don't know if they would have, anyone else there. Ruben Studdard and Clay Aiken were big deals at the moment, but they were like Bagel Boss. We all knew it, Ruben versus Clay and all that, but neither one did anything with it really afterwards. But Bagel Boss was a thing like Honey Boo Boo, where if you saw a tiny little Jewish guy yelling, you're like, whatever, Bagel Boss. Like any little midgety guy, you just called Bagel Boss for like a month or two.
1,000,000%. And that's why I think it fits perfectly, because he came into the scene. He tried to make it work. He did a podcast. He tried to recreate the anger. He was going to celebrity fight somebody. He did stand up.
Yep. He did everything he possibly could to keep that going. He just wasn't likable.
No, he was a hateable human being, which is the opposite of Hawk Tuah. Everything I've seen with her, she seems very genuine and likable. So I don't know about you. I'm kind of rooting for this chick. Like, I hope 5 years from now, I'm wrong that she found fame and success and was able to maintain it. Like, I'm kind of pulling for her.
See, I always judge it on the first time they get to talk afterwards with the interviews and things. And she was dumb as shit on that Barstool Sports thing. Like, she adds nothing. She has nothing. Like, I'm not saying she's supposed to know how to be part of fame and everything, but you have to show some kind of, like, je ne sais quoi, if you will. You know what I mean? I got to see some kind of fucking reason that I'm going to want to sink my teeth into your career. And I get what people say. I get Deadfool being like, what's up, Deadfool? I get you being like, she'll be fine. A rich dude would take care of her. On a spectrum of hot, unfamous hot, she is. Famous hot, not at all. I mean, I know she's young and all, but like, she does not stand out with other women. And dude, you'd get tired of the Hawk Tuah after the 5th Hawk Tuah.
Yeah, it's not special anymore.
What if she doesn't do it? What if she was just, we all say crazy things when we're drunk. What if she's like a little nibbler, and you're like, what's going on? She's like, well, I don't really do that. That's why I said I was being crazy. I don't really spit on that thing. It's like, well, then what are we doing here?
I think if you marry her and she says that, you're legally allowed to hire Ronda Rousey to fight her.
Well, I mean, if you got to the point of marriage, then it's different. Nobody married the Hawk Tuahs, but I'm talking about like the first date. That's when you'd have to know. She'd have to Hawk Tuah on not the first date, but the first time you hook up. Is what I'm saying.
He's like crying. She's like, I don't have enough liquid in me right now. I'm so dehydrated. I can't do this anymore.
And yes, Deadpool, you're right. The way to most people's hearts are sense of humor, and I get that. She is somebody who did. How many women walk by there and are unfunny? It's like, what do you say to a man when he hits on you? And the woman's like, I say, get away from me, motherfucker. I'm a queen. You're like, all right, I hate these videos. This girl was like, hey, what do you do? She's like, Octua, spit on that thing. She's fun. She's a good time. That usually, fun like that the first time usually leads to like, it gets old and it gets like, you're nuts. And also, sometimes they don't know when to keep their Hawk Tuah to themselves and when to spread the Hawk Tuah. You know what I mean? Like, once a Hawk Tuah, always a Hawk Tuah. But Deadpool, I hope that you guys find the love together. I think you deserve each other. I think it'd be great. You're a good man who supports shows, and you deserve a little hawk on your Tuah.
And thank you for revealing why I'm so unhappy in relationships. It turns out Pat was saying humor is the way to people's hearts, so I swing and a miss.
Yes, women are like, hey, Jim Croce, I don't even know that. I have to keep Googling when you talk. It's like, I don't know.
I literally got that text, Pat. I have to Google some of the references you make. Just educate yourself. I don't know.
Nope. It's never the audience's fault, Bobby. We've talked about this.
Sometimes the audience is dumb.
No, well, the audience was not sitting there thinking they had to do research to be ready. If you walk into a room or a text and you're going to say something, we're comedians. We have to frame it in a way so they get the whole thing. It's like, there you go. That's my lesson for the people of the day. But yeah, I'm going to name a name. You tell me if you know who they are, right? Just off name.
Cool.
Mason Ramsey.
No. Mason, yes. I know who Mason Ramsey is. It took a second. He's the yodeler, right?
Yes, he's the yodeling boy.
Yes,
it was known for a little bit as being a guy, just for the yodeling. I don't know how famous he really got. I mean, he did get to do a voice in Angry Birds movie Part 2. I don't know if that's really rolling it into anything. But yeah, for a hot minute. I mean, not as much. I think we were already done with him before we were done with Jesus Christ, Kevin.
I mean, he's not wrong.
He's totally not wrong. They rolled it into quite a thing. It's still talking about it today. Kevin gets the Husey Award. We're not even going to try to do any farther than that today. That's the Husey Award right there. Mason Ramsey at this point, I mean, we stopped talking about him way sooner than we stopped talking about Hawk Tuah. Hawk Tuah really higher up on that list of things.
He also, his fame, like it's almost like when you throw a rock into there's waves and ripples. Because he just had a song where he came out about like a woman breaking his heart, and homie's 12 years old, and all the comments I saw were like, "Who broke the yodeler's heart?" So like, at least he's pursuing what he wanted to out of it all. I don't think he's at the success fame he wants, but he's at least got his foot in the door to music.
Yeah. Charlie D'Amelio.
She was the dancer on TikTok, right?
And still is. I mean, she's still on there, and the family rolled it into a fucking empire. They're from Connecticut, so I know a little bit more about them. But like her and the sister and the parents, they were on their YouTube channel. They protected her pretty good because a lot of people wanted to like overly sexualize a girl who was just doing a little dance thing, whatever. And I mean, now she's older, she's sexualizing herself. I think she's now going desperate at this point because people are overtaking her and she's not known. Like, I don't know if you heard, but like 2 weeks ago or a week ago, she put out a video and it's quick. But she's in a see-through shirt and you can see nipple. And everyone's like, whoa, is there nipple? And then everyone's so she went from just not doing any of that kind of shit whatsoever to now this. It did come out that she was kind of bitchy and stuff. But when you're young and you're thrown into the spotlight and everyone's telling you your shit don't stink and you're still going through your developmental years, it is hard not to become my bitchy. I get that. But she 100%. Is still, if you say the name, or said the girl, if you say the girl who danced on TikTok, to most people, she really was I don't know if she was first, but she's the one we think of first. And now there's a billion of them. You know what I mean?
She started the game, and now other people have far surpassed her. That's so sad.
Yeah, I wouldn't say far surpassed her. I think just now that it's more known that we allow it. Like Michael Jordan got to become the international sensation because Larry and Magic made us care about basketball in the late 70s, early 80s. I'm not saying everyone else afterwards far surpassed Magic and Larry or Michael for people now who can just do whatever they want, but they opened the door so everybody could do it.
Very, very true. I guess she walked so other people could run, kind of like Martin Luther King said.
See, Kevin, this is a problem that I have with society nowadays. They're right away like, oh, nipple. Well, we're going to get fat puss. We can't get fat puss. That's not what we're going to do. And second of all, I like it when someone doesn't just put their nudes out there right away or all the time. I like that they want you to like check them out. I'm not saying for this girl, she's way too young, but I'm saying in general, when an actress doesn't have 1,000 leaked fucking nudes, that's not, you're like, oh yeah. Like Jessica Alba forever was like, I'm not gonna do anything like that. She was hot as shit. She came out of nowhere in that TV show, and you're like, fuck, I want to see this lady naked. And then you're like, you can't. And she got older, and it's like, all right, here's some tit. But that was when you didn't want it anymore. I mean, not like Janet Jackson. Janet Jackson, that was Justin Timberlake. That we're learning more and more that Justin Timberlake is just an awful man. Back then, we're like, oh, it's an innocent slip. No, Timberlake was like, titties. Like,
let me see them titties, dog.
Yeah, that was rape. Let's cancel Timberlake. Rape.
I got a good example.
What up?
There was a guy during the O.J. Simpson trial who composed a parody song about O.J., who then got to be on the radio and became that radio show host, co-host, and led to a media empire that recently closed. But that'd be Anthony Cumia. I mean, truly, he had a parody song that would have gone a little viral, but he then parlayed it into a career's worth of success.
Yeah, but the country didn't know about it. They heard if you heard it on the radio, you kind of heard it. You didn't know his name. You didn't know him as the guy. You heard the song. Like, okay. And I'm not shitting on Cumia, but then Cumia got a radio show. Example. No, it would be but we're talking about overnight sensation. That he made a parody song. It got in some places, but it wasn't a sense. We all know Hawk Tuah, and no, you can't escape Hawk Tuah. You can't, like right here, my example I have here, William Hung. You couldn't escape William Hung. When that shit happened, when he came out and go, she bang, on Fox,
yeah.
The next day, the world was like, what the fuck? This little tiny Asian guy, it was silly, it was fun. No one cared that it sucked. They loved him so much. They kept putting him on the show. They shoved him down your throat. When I was working at Hartford Current newspaper, I was selling advertising for them. We had one of those, like, what they call Yankee swaps, the Christmas parties where you bring a gift in and you get a name and you just trade them. I got a William Hung bobblehead. Like, there was a bobblehead made back, not in a personal all now, but back then someone had that because it would play those songs. She bang, whatever. Everyone knew who that was. Not everyone knew Anthony Cumia, the song guy, in that regard. Not an overnight thing. And, and he's been around forever, but he also built a giant radio legacy where he got a show and showed chops and things. They didn't have to force the thing in. He just got hired because a guy who wasn't that funny needed someone else to be funny. But yeah, William Hung to me is like one of the greatest examples of it because maybe younger people don't know now, but anyone my age or a little bit younger, when that shit happened, we could not fucking get away. You couldn't get away from it. Like it was commercials. He would just show up on like talk shows, like nonstop, the late night talk shows. Like William Hung, and oh, she banged. It wouldn't fucking end.
By that logic, would you consider hide your kids, hide your wife because they're raping everybody out here?
Absolutely, because that became hide your kids, hide your wife became a thing that people had made memes out of, did whatever. It's a little easier to do it with social media the way it is now, where something can just go viral. It was a little harder back then because like you had to like get the sense that the world was reacted in a way by seeing it on TV and then shove it on more TV. But like, yes, without a doubt, that's a great example. Once again, don't know the person's name, don't give a shit. But when someone starts going off like hide your kids, hide your wife, that shit. When you see a black person with crazy hair like that, you're like hide your kids, hide your wife. Like you say that, they start complaining, hide your kids, hide your wife. When it can become an insult to other people who kind of look like it, that you made it.
Yeah, no,
your name or your catchphrase becomes a thing.
Kind of like that Burger King crown guy.
The Burger King crown?
On the plane, he keeps yelling a word you're not supposed to yell.
I don't know this at all.
Oh, I thought this went viral. There's a guy in Australia who's wearing a Burger King crown, and he has a choice set of words he keeps screaming about the black person who punched him on a
He
plane.
got punched?
That's what he alleges. There's never been any footage of him getting punched. Hang on, I'll find the video real quick. You'll appreciate it.
All right. Well, while you're doing that, her real name is Danielle Bergoli, but Catch Me Outside.
Yeah.
Catch Me Outside is one of the greatest examples of all time with this, because Catch Me Outside, how about that? She became a big thing. She became Bad Baby, right? That's the name? Yeah.
Yep.
And she became the fastest growing OnlyFans of all times. Like in one day, the amount of money and followers she got was insane. Like she did she roll it into the career that maybe somebody wants? But if I'm a hot Tuah and I'm looking for examples of what's going to happen and you just want to make money, that's your ultimate example to look at.
Yeah. Even though like a lot of it was built off of the sexualization of her, she still found a way to make it work. It's too cool, Kish. Bitch too cool. Ja logo ja.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Kish realizes that's Ja Morant, the basketball player, and not you yelling out German, but I wanted you to see that. I know I said it earlier, Dominic, start a free lower lips movement. Oh, Jesus Christ. But yeah, like Catch Me Outside, she was just literally on Dr. Phil being brought on there because she was a troubled child. That no one expected nobody comes out of those shows a star. And she became this thing where everybody wanted to know about it, it couldn't be stopped. And everyone kept talking about it. And God bless whatever shady shyster that grabbed onto her and was like, we can make this be something. And they put her in all the right spots. And I hate to say it, they put her in the black community. They're like, here's a white thing that you guys can all probably fuck, and it will let you be famous with it. And then there was that girl that became the knockoff for her. What was her name? The friend of hers.
What was her name? That was
fucking Jesus. That was my favorite one.
So
she got famous just from looking kind of like her. And actually, I think she's doing a little bit better on social media now. God damn it, what was her name?
Whoa Vicky.
Whoa Vicky, yeah, Whoa Vicky became a big thing, and it's probably from saying something. I don't even remember what her moment was. I just know she became like the sidekick or the rival. Then at one point, there was the whole thing with the Bad Baby and the Whoa Vicky and all that shit.
Yeah, they I think to this day they still feud.
Yeah,
they're like they're like 50 Cent in the Game at any major MTV award show. They shoot at each other behind the scenes.
Except they have to sit on opposite sides of the Waffle House instead of the Apollo Theater. That's the difference. Kevin, you bring up a good point. I'm not sure if this counts, but it might. Tracy Lords. Tracy Lords was before internet porn. Tracy Lords was the porn star name besides like goofy name. Like people knew like Wendy Whoppers. And I don't even know if that lady was a good porn star or not, but just because the name was so stupid, no one cared. Debbie Does Dallas. Things like that. You knew that it was someone named Debbie, I guess. But Tracy Lords did, because of her fame and being known in the Hollywood circuit, rolled it and did make a movie or two that were quote unquote not porn. I mean, they still had her get naked and they still had her basically be fucked, but just they didn't show it like porn. But yeah, there was something there. I don't know if the country was calling for it or we're like, oh my God. I think it was just like, now that we think about what Hollywood is, it was just like, she did so many favors. I'm guessing that she became the first trafficked woman on that was on board. Like, I'm guessing that Harvey Weinstein was probably like, Tracy Lords, you want to get stuff? I'm just going to send you to people. She's like, absolutely. I'll fuck whoever you want. Just get me in a movie. And they're like, all right. So they would just, when they try to bring in clientele, Tracy Lords was that person. I mean, I don't know. This is all alleged and me making shit up. That's what it feels like.
Harvey's like, I need you to act like you don't enjoy it a little more. That's what these guys really want.
And Deadpool, I want you to know it's not just you. The second I did it, she bangs is now stuck in my fucking head. It's what I'm fucking pissed. It's like whatever.
Butthole girl.
Butthole. Oh, let me see into your butthole. That girl who sings the song?
No, the one who put a cell phone in her butthole.
Oh, I don't know her.
Oh, she was big. She was in that documentary, The Worst. mean, she wasn't. That's the problem. That's what made it so impressive. The cell phone was, but she was in that documentary, The Most Hated Man on Earth. She was like the star of that site, and now like literally, you could be a glorified open mic comedian running her website.
Yes, Deadpool. I do remember that because she was on Howard Stern. I want to say she was 16 in her first porn, possibly 15.
That's
And she
where I
said she
remember
was
the name.
And a lot of people were like, "What the fuck?" And like, yeah. And so many men had jerked off to her, and they're like, "Holy shit!"
Going to
Dude,
prison.
like, so many people were like mental pedophiles, like they didn't even have a clue. Whatever. It was 14. Yes, I knew it was young as fuck. It was fucking 14. Yeah, it was like, yo, that's insane. You can lie if you're 17, possibly 16, I would think. I don't care what you look like. 14's got that same fucking dopey face.
She still had braces.
I mean, unless her teeth were always good, Bobby. Not every woman has braces.
Yeah, you're right, Pat. The girl who started doing porn at 14 probably was gifted with God's gift of teeth.
Bobby, I'll tell you now, if you're doing porn at 14, you are God's gift because you are looking like something adults want to fuck. So I make the joke, but like she had the looks. Listen, we all went to high school with that one girl who developed earlier than everybody else. And you were all like, what the fuck? Like one day she just showed up in like a tiny little dress that it would look like a blouse on everyone else. And all of a sudden you're like 14, but this girl's in your class. And you're like, holy shit. Teachers start being nice to her. All of a sudden she starts hanging out with seniors on the high school. Possibly a college guy brought her to the prom. You're like, what the fuck is going on?
You gotta kill this college guy.
Fucking insanity. Tell me more about Butthole Girl.
So she basically, there was a website called Are You Still Up, where you would post nudes of other people or of yourself, and she became known that you could convince her to put things in her butt.
Wait, did they make a documentary on this?
Yeah, The Most Hated Man on Earth. She was like the main star.
I only know the documentary. I was not open. I do say you're right then. It was enough where they were able to make a thing out of it. I wasn't aware of it, but I mean, the rest of the world that heard about the Butthole Girl. I didn't hear about that. I heard about the aftermath.
Some of us fell in love
with the guy,
the Butthole Girl.
Nice.
I was always like, how could I fit my cell phone sized dick in somewhere? And then you're like, oh, it's perfect.
I've got a BlackBerry. That's what I've got. I thought you meant the little girl who plays the ukulele and sings the song "Let Me See Into Your Butthole." What's inside a butthole? That became monster huge because that was the craziest song ever and big, and people used it for videos and shared it. You know what? I don't even know her name or what it's from, but there's like this fat, like Samoan looking girl who just dances like this, and people put her in every fucking, like they'll put her with a flames behind her and be like, my brain, even though everything's going bad, but I think everything's all right. And she's just like, you know what I'm talking about? Like,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep. Somewhere in the lexicon, somewhere in the fucking zeitgeist, it's just this little fat Samoan bitch, and she's just like, yeah, I'm the thoughts that, yeah, baby. Like, I don't know who the fuck that is.
Kind of like the Russian dude who gets confused, surprised, and then happy that they use for all the reaction memes where it's initially like this. Then
yeah, I wouldn't even know he was Russian, but I knew when you said that part, I got it. Or I had another one in my head. There's another fucking, I can't think of it. But there's all like those kind of videos. You just use a person whenever you're doing that kind of shit. There's a lot of dancing ones. But yeah, that one, they don't really roll it and to do anything into it, but it becomes something we all know for a little bit. It becomes a running gag and joke. This one's on the list here. I kind of think she falls into the Jennifer Hudson thing, but Susan Boyle.
Yeah.
She became big because of the way it happened. I mean, literally, I think we all learned how fucking terrible we are as people. When everyone's like, oh my God, how can she sing? She's so ugly. Like, that was the issue. She was an amazing singer. I'm sure the way she was trained and shit, I'm sure she was on the radar for many, music companies and things like that. But they were probably like, hey, listen, put her on this show. Maybe she'll get the reaction we need, which is exactly that. But definitely she was been trained. She'd been working. She'd been doing things. She did become an overnight sensation. And she did turn it into she's still touring and has a career. She like on the pop chart, but that's not what her music was supposed to be anyway. So she wasn't supposed to be for all of us. but she became that thing. You know what I mean? Like, so right away, she became a thing that we all knew Susan Boyle was, and it became an insult. So, and everything we're saying, the big ugly lady who could do stuff, it became what we're saying is the qualifications for this.
Yeah, Susan's a great example. She may have made fame eventually in like some off opera, whatever the opera's done on.
She would have been successful. Maybe not fame as in fame, the word works, but she would have definitely had success. And she is one of the uglier women of all time.
She's, I mean, top 5 for sure.
I do confuse her with Hannah Gadsby a lot. Hannah Gadsby would definitely be one of these because no one knew who the fuck she was. She has that one special where she's like, I got raped. Rape is bad. I don't like rape. Rape's disgusting. I like kangaroos and vagina. That's what I like. And everyone's like, yeah, greatest comedian ever. It's like, I don't even need punchlines. Oh, dick. I don't need that shit. I'm fucking Hannah Gadsby. And they're like, we need another thing from you. You're the most famous comedian ever now. Fuck Chappelle. Fuck Carlin. Fuck Kevin Hart. Fuck all these people. So you, Hannah Gadsby tires, whatever. You are the big star. And then she goes, here's my second album. Oh, yeah, to cross the road and get to the other side. Well, I guess you know the chicken. Like, what the fuck? Like, I got nothing. I better go get raped again. Like, they had nothing.
Well, in her defense, the funniest joke I've ever heard is that she thought she was rapeable.
Well, I'm going to say it in this voice or I'm going to get sued. But anything's rapeable if you try hard enough.
Oh, God.
Wait. Do we have a comparison here? Yeah. Hawk Tuah. Yeah. Hannah. Boo. Yeah.
We do not like Hannah.
No one does. Now, I don't even think lesbians do. Lesbians just have to say they like other lesbians, but if you name the most famous lesbians, that's not a sweet roster.
Caitlin Clark. Brianna Stewart.
She's not a lesbian.
Sabrina Suzanne. Oh, I just thought we were talking about the WNBA. My bad. I always get those two confused.
Caitlin
Famous
Clark,
lesbians in the WNBA.
That's one of the many reasons they all hate her. That she's a white straight girl.
They all want to fuck her. Exactly.
But what's funny is they're all like super attractive. Like, definitely not super attractive. Caitlin Clark is not super attractive. She's not regular attractive. She's not mildly. She's just plain Jane Jones. That's just what she is. She's just greasy. You ever see her trying to walk around in heels? She looks like if you walked in heels. It's like,
she looks like the character Miss Congeniality was inspired by. She's never done anything ladylike.
Yeah, ever. But the problem is Miss Congeniality was played by someone hot.
Yeah, no, it would be the real life version.
Oh, here's another good example. Rebecca Black. Do you know who that is?
It's Friday.
That became fucking big. Like, that was a thing. And now radio stations still play that shit-ass song on Fridays.
It's Friday. Gotta get down on Friday.
Other people started making songs. I think Katy Perry did It's a Friday Night. Like, they all tried to do other songs, like, kind of close to it because of the catchiness and what it was. But it became that big thing. And we all knew what the fuck it was right away. And she did roll it into a career. I mean, that was her biggest hit by far. And yeah, she got Tosh.0 and all that kind of shit, but like, she is still a recording artist as far as I know.
Yeah.
I mean, in the same way that Hanson from like Bop is still, I follow them on TikTok. They're singing in LA all the time. Like, they do small little venues and shit, and they cover old songs, and they're just not cool when they're old, but they still sing.
Absolutely. And she kind of copied the pattern of Carly Rae Jepsen. Do you remember her?
Yeah, well, I think she was a bigger star, Carly. I mean, Carly does a way bigger star. She had more than one song. You're right. She did come out of nowhere with that song, but she was with a label. Friday was like, she put it on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like, there was a different, like, it was just all, like, if you're going to go that route, anyone who puts out their first song and it becomes a big deal, like saying Katy Perry, I Kissed a Girl and I Liked It, is so far away from what she is now. But when that song came out, you couldn't get away from it. It was always someone saying it, two lesbians, you'd sing the song at them, anything like that. All those, you would use that as insults or jokes or whatever. But they were both on labels and they were both promoted to the world and put on radio. Friday was literally a YouTube thing.
So the issue I have with Friday in general is there's one guy who tried this like 90 times with 14-year-old chicks. Like he would overproduce their pop songs and make them like that one made it. Then there was one about Thanksgiving that didn't. And so like it was almost it felt almost transparent that this is what he was trying to do, whereas kind of the Carly one was more organic.
But it wasn't because it was with a label.
She was on a label too. Rebecca Black was on a label too. The label just put it on YouTube. It was one guy who found all these 14-year-old girls and was like, I'll take 50% of whatever you make on streams. And
I heard it was a guy who was trying to build a label and it wasn't a label.
I mean, it wasn't Def Jam, but
no,
it was.
That's
like
what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. But I might be wrong on the name. I want to say it was Atlantic. It was a real. Carly Rae Jepsen was signed as a thing. She had been coming up the circuit, and this was a projected thing. You know what I mean? So
yeah, okay.
Don't bring up the Transparents. All right, we won't. I'll ask Bobby. Do you know the Transparents?
No.
I don't want to Google that.
My internet won't let me. I've got parental control on.
Why? Your parents are looking at your internet again?
They're like, no looking at Transparents.
All right. I guess this one counts. Sigh.
Yeah, he didn't have any follow-ups, that's for goddamn sure.
And yeah, but he was an established Korean pop star. It just came over here. It did become big to us, but he wasn't out of nowhere. He literally had a pop career in Korea.
Yeah, he was the original.
It just kind of came over, because that'd be like saying the Beatles were that when they came over here for Beatlemania. Like, we already knew, like, not that we knew Psy, it's different. He did become an overnight sensation here. He did not roll it into anything, but man, did they try. And people used it as jokes. Yeah, you know what? I guess it does. It doesn't matter that I guess it doesn't matter if they were trying to do something and it finally hit. But the fact that song hit so fucking hard.
Hard. Yeah.
And then it wouldn't go away for years and years.
You know what's a good one of somebody who was on a label but became the individual that is the overnight sensation is the Sexy Sax guy. Sexy Sax guy. Bump, bum, bum, bum. You know, the one who came out and humped the air at Eurovision?
No, I don't.
Oh, I'm going to pull up an image quick. You'll absolutely know what I'm talking about.
Cool. Well, I don't want that. Terry, those were two guys. That was Right Said Fred. And they were, I'm too sexy for my shirt. So sexy for my shirt. So sexy it hurts. And they were like model guys that, like kind of like Milli Vanilli, launched into them. At least they sang. But yeah, they were fucking, that song didn't go away for years and years and years. I wouldn't know about Tiny Tim, Terry, because Tiny Tim was just something that I think that just Hollywood couldn't let go of. Like I guess that was the way, like I'm saying back then, like he got big for one thing first, singing that one song, and then it became like we put him on every TV show and variety show possible in the 70s because people like what it is, and then he ended up sad and alone on Howard Stern. But like, yeah, I guess Tiny Tim would be that, if you will. He just did, maybe he got so much in the zeitgeist and lexicon that I forgot that he was just a thing that everyone overnight was like, what the fuck? Yeah, I don't know this guy at all. I've heard this song on TikTok.
So they use him humping like that as like a dance meme in pictures too. Like kind of like,
you know what? But I've heard the song played as a joke, and it was supposed to be making it like sexy, and I didn't know why until right now. Okay, so I get, but I think the song became the big star and not him as much, in my eyes at least. Like the song and what it meant as the meme became bigger than Sexy Sax Guy, but definitely that thing. Bob Dylan is not it. Yep, we found Terry. Thank you for finding us, buddy. We appreciate you. They got a couple honorable mentions. Alex from Target.
Yep.
I don't know who that is.
That was the girl. So there was a toothbrush that was worth $200 that was made 1 cent by like an error barcode. And a guy threw a temper tantrum that they wouldn't sell him the $200 toothbrush for 1 cent, berated her. And like, you could argue that there's like validity there. The way this guy attacked this like 19-year-old cashier at Target, who was the one person in charge that day, like made her go viral because she kept her composure so well and everything like that. And she actually did parlay it into success a little bit because she became like a spokesperson for Target. She was just a cashier who now is like one of the models for the company because of this guy being a dickhead.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, if you know who she was, then great. I've never seen that, heard it, but I'm not. I also I'm about to turn 50, so I do get sometimes
She
that
was
I'm
one
not.
of the
I really
shortest.
stay on board. I stay on top as much things as I can, and most people say I do know more about pop culture shit than a lot of people my age would. But at the same time, I do miss a lot of it.
Yeah, and hers was probably the shortest blip of fame we've talked about yet. Like it was literally a day long, I think.
Ken Bone
Yep.
says,
He
or asking about energy policies at a presidential debate.
So Ken Bone's the dude who wore that red sweater. He was one of the undecided voters, and everybody just fell in love with him because he seemed like this charismatic guy. And then what kept his story going is they found his Reddit, and he was a real creep. He was
Oh,
super into
nice.
pregnant
That
porn.
usually is what happens. Like, you know what? Jared from Subway.
Yeah.
Boom. They put him in a commercial. He was a nobody and became that. You want someone that became like he became Subway. And then I don't know if you heard about him. They kind of found out he was a creep too.
Bad things with that guy, huh?
Yeah. Turns out, even though he promoted the foot long, he liked the 6-inch.
Kind of spokesperson line, ShamWow, dude.
ShamWow, dude. Yeah. And that became big.
And then he bit a hooker's face. And we all stopped liking him. And now he's back trying to be like, I'm doing an edgy talk show. You guys are going to like me. But his face looks all messed up and he's so much older.
I don't think he's back. That's like saying Stuttering John is back.
He never was.
Stuttering John. I don't want to give him credit for being an overnight sensation, but the first time he was on Howard Stern and he was like, all that shit, like, Howard, all that shit, I was like, this is fucking crazy. They have this guy, this is radio. Well, I'm listening to a guy who can't talk on a thing that's all about talk. And the more he came on and the more he would get mad and want to fight people and be stupid, the more I was like, I'm listening to this. And he became a big star, so big that Jay Leno, when he needed fucking help, literally turned. It was like, I'll take you. And he's like, Nicolas Cage and Pamela Anderson and all that dumb clips they would play all the time. But he turned it into something. And now he is desperately so hard trying to become relevant. He's literally right now on a world tour driving his car around when he leaves his mom's house and asks for gas money to go fucking fight people, but he doesn't ever fight them. He went to Kevin Brennan's apartment and just talked to the door guy. He went to Patrick Melton's house when he wasn't home. And I don't know if you know this, Bobby, he just literally threatened the other day to go to South Carolina and go try to fight your ex-boss. Which, by the way, Kevin Brennan said, I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't Kevin Brennan. My bad. It was Carl from WATP had said, I don't know if you're aware of how many guns Anthony has, but I wouldn't go unannounced. Announced. Maybe unannounced. But not that. But then he's going to drive to Shuley next and go fight people. So, and maybe after my album comes out, maybe he'll drive to Connecticut.
I was going to say, nothing would make me happier if he showed up August 8th, 9th, and 10th, and you're like, I got this. And I was like, no, Pat. I've been bottling up this rage for a while. I've got this.
I don't think he'd show up to the recording because he wouldn't know yet. But once it comes out, and then we start having the clip package right away, one of the jokes I tell, which is all about our friend there. Anyway, Jeremy Meeks, do you know who that is?
No, I don't know Jeremy Meeks.
The hot felon is the guy who had the fucking the eyes.
I just didn't know his name.
Yeah. That guy, I wouldn't have known his name either, but that dude, he actually got an acting career.
In a model, yeah, the whole shebang, just because he was good looking. God,
I mean, it was black acting, so it was like, I think he was on Power or something,
okay,
which I would never know, but it's one of those, you know what I mean?
Shout out 50 Cent, we love him here.
Or not Power, what's the other one?
Tyler Perry.
No, there's one Mike Power, but
yeah.
it's one name too, and I forget what it is, but it's
Empire.
Not Empire. That's what it is. 588 Empire today. Was that the show?
That is.
But who knew salting meat could look so stylish? The Salt Bay guy. I don't know anything about him.
He would drop salt like this. He was like European, and then he opened a restaurant that just sucked.
Yeah, it was just with salt. All right, do you know who they think this list I did? This is Watch Mojo, by the way, just to give credit. Watch Mojo. Do you know who their number one person on the list was of all time overnight sensation.
No, who?
I'll give you a hint. They're still currently a musician. They are a rapper, and they're very unique.
Lil Dicky.
No, but you got the first name right.
Lil Wayne.
Nope. Way more unique than those.
Krispy Kreme?
First of all, it's not his name is not Luke. But before we get to that, holy shit, Krispy Kreme was a big fucker. I don't know if he got as big. I know he was huge, like for people paying attention to the internet. I don't know if he went like viral like that, but Krispy Kreme, without a doubt, got there. Oh, Kevin, real quick, yes. Bobby has convinced me, and so has many other people, that yes, I know I'm old school and I only do albums. That there will be video this time, and we'll put it on YouTube. It will be up there, but no one else is gonna grab onto it, obviously. Bobby is. Bobby doesn't mind me talking about this, whatever. It's not us guys just doing it. There is a label. Bobby does have another job and works for a label, Uncancelable Records. This will be the second time we're putting it out through them. So yeah, it's legitimately out there. It's not just me putting a thing out. They recorded last year's for me, and it did better than I thought it was going to do, to be honest. So they have a decent reach. I think this year's will be even better because they've grown as a company with their reach and things like that. They've grown with their clientele. They've got some really good people. Bobby and I were talking the other day. We were mentioning comics that we knew when we first grew up. We were little, and I mentioned a comic, this guy Tom Rhodes, who I loved because I'd see him on Comedy Central. And Bobby's like, "That's funny. You're label mates with him." I was like, "Holy shit! I had no idea." A guy I really respected and liked. That's kind of cool. So yeah, but video will be there as well. So it'll be a whole full video, full audio. Both will be available. The audio will debut, we believe, on SiriusXM. Not 100% sure, but we would believe.
Yeah, we're hoping.
Yeah, if not, it'll be all over the place. So you all know when it's coming out. But it'll be there. Believe me, before it comes out, we'll have that one clip of the Stuttering John thing. Will be the one we use to fucking promote everything
first.
But
but you were talking Krispy Kreme because he kind of blew up on Tosh. That was his big thing, right?
Yes.
And then
Tosh is I didn't want to dig too much into Tosh stuff because that was Tosh's whole thing was making these people like he was. Now we all can just find them. It's very easy to go on the internet and find it. But Tosh was really purveying the scene, and his people were in doing this before people did this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I call Daniel Tosh the Elvis Presley of watching video clips because he stole the idea from Patrice. But yes, he was the first one to get real fame from it.
I mean, I don't think that's true. I mean, Patrice wasn't the only person watching video clips at all.
No.
Every radio station was doing it. Tosh was the first one to actually build a platform to do it well.
Yeah, he was doing it. I mean,
Patrice probably stole it from Patrice probably stole it from hearing it on a Hot 93.7.
No, I know, but he just I meant he was like the first show, and I wanted to give him a little credit. It wasn't really a shot at Tosh. I was more just
but I'm saying but I know everyone thinks that Patrice created everything. There's a lot of Patrice. The jokes that Patrice is mad that Amy Schumer stole, they weren't Patrice's either.
No.
You know, so like
that's what
we all like to glorify people when they're dead. But I opened for him a couple weeks before he died. That guy, if he didn't die that day, he was dying soon. That guy did not care about his life or whatever, and he did care about pork chops and his mom because that's the two things I saw him hold the most that weekend: pork chops and his mom. But yes, the number one person on this list, Lil Nas X.
Okay, I can see
Old Town Road came out, that became monstrous. I mean, even bigger than when the Thrift Shop song by the fucking, what's his name, Macklemore, like when that was also a thing, it's like, oh, white guy doing a weird ass thing. Lil Nas X's song became huge. No one knew that I can't say no one knew. You saw the video and you're like, oh, he might be gay. But no one knew like all his background agenda. He went crazy with it and he turned it into a legit career. The guy gets awards, he has albums, he doesn't have his money. But he really became a big star out of this. And it was this one thing that when it came out, we didn't shut the fuck up about it. Everyone knew that song. Even there were racist, homophobic people that did not know that was a black gay man. You know what I mean? They didn't know.
100%.
They just like, my horse down the road down road. Like, everybody was just singing it and fucking loving it. And then it did become the insult, like we said, is another criteria. Because you would start to see a gay black guy, if he ever went or even a regular black guy in a cowboy has like easy Lil Nas X. He stopped being Hootie and he started being Lil Nas X. It moved right over. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And what I also liked about that too is he had the talent. because like the whole country scene came out and kind of supported him when they were trying to get rid of it. All that stuff, like Billy Ray came riding in. So there's part of that too, where there's overnight success, and then people realize there's talent there and want to support it. You know?
Right. And Terry, that's the ultimate example. It became such part of our world, so part of the lexicon, that literally little kids were singing that song. You're gonna look back at videos 20 years from now, and like, what the fuck song was that? People are like, no, that was the biggest song of that time. Like, it took over everything. Oh, yeah, Ricky. I mean, yes, the music video kind of gave it away. But then again, I don't know if you know this. No one really knew that Judas Priest was gay, and you would think the video gave it away. Rob
Rob certainly
was
gave it
there.
away.
Rob Alford was wearing spikes on his neck and chaps and shit with his ass out. Everyone's like, "That's what men do, devil." It's like, no, that's gay.
But we did talk. I just finished the Krispy Kreme thought. He
Yes.
is one of the few guys who tricked Tosh. Like, he came in and, as that Krispy Kreme character that was playing this white dumb dude, and then literally parlayed it into success. Tyler Cassidy's killing it.
I don't think he tricked him.
He, even when he did the interview, he never broke character. Maybe behind the scenes, Tosh knew what was
Right.
up, but like, Tyler's brilliant. Like, and it seemed like he was that dumb white trash kind of, like, I don't know if he was doing the shtick. Like, Krispy Kreme was a character he was playing.
Right. I don't think that Daniel Tosh thought he was like punking people or trying to figure out who they really were. He definitely wanted. I'll guarantee he wanted the Krispy Kreme guy.
That's
I'm
my
not saying
point.
he told him to do it, but I would think if anything, not Daniel Tosh, but the people of Comedy Central were like, be the Krispy Kreme guy. Don't be yourself. We don't, because that's not what he was in the video. The people were only themselves in the videos when a dumb thing happened. Like a guy fell off a ladder and fucking did something nuts. They're like, yeah, tell your story about what really happened, and we'll make fun of you some more and shit. But yeah, I don't. It wasn't like a behind the music. We're gonna fucking expose Krispy Kreme. There was no like tricking. He went on there to Daniel Tosh, to me, was helping out these people figure out something, because they did have this moment. Most times it wasn't on purpose, and they didn't think it was going to become viral, and they didn't know what to do with it, so we put them out there for a couple more seconds. They had another. Daniel Tosh gave you one more week to figure out your shit. He really was like that payment plan you get when you can't pay your bills. Like, it's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. You're going to turn up my class, and you'll call me like, listen, we'll give you 2 more weeks, do this, this, and this. Like, and if you can't do it in 2 more weeks, then you're fucked and you have no gas, and that's on you. But if you can, then boom, you're welcome, and Daniel Tosh opened that door for you.
1,000,000%. What I was saying is, you said at the beginning we were going to talk potentially, and I know we've gone longer with this, about how we could do it for ourselves. And he was like the best example for me. He came up with a character, stayed in character, and got the attention from it, and then parlayed it. Like that song I played for you over the weekend, to give the N-word a break. That's the same dude. Like, he's still making songs that get millions of views in 2024. And that was what?
I've never heard of that guy, and I don't think he's got a big career.
I mean, he pays his bills doing music. He's not Pink, but he's making, decent money. That was my point.
That's all very strange. That's your one example. He's not obviously the world-renowned Pink. And yeah, Pink is world-renowned. I get it, but that was just out of all the people. All I remember is that there was one of those MTV awards where Pink came out like riding a black guy when she was like a Moulin Rouge video or something. And I'm like, oh no, they all just fucked that lady. And it's like, then a year later, then she's like, women's empowerment. Like, remember when you were like a fleshlight for a black guy at the MTV Music Awards?
Pink sings songs for all the girls I date.
Jesus. I think we did more. I only wanted to add the whole we could do things. We could maybe do that in another show. Yeah. We did more than I thought we were going to do with this episode as it was. So I think we can leave it there. I mean, I think our best way to do that, to roll ourselves, is like we have to get known first. To get known, it helps to get monetized. So thank you all for watching. What we've been asking everyone to do, and if you could, is take the fucking our playlist, take the BS one, whatever, put it on some device you don't give a fuck about. You can turn the volume off. We don't care. Just let it play. We need hours. That's the only thing we need. Hours viewed, and then we're monetized. And we'll be very happy to do that. We really appreciate you guys watching. Usually Thursday Thoughts are only on Patreon. This is where we deep dive into one topic. So that's what we did today with this, the Hot Tuah thing. So if you guys could, wait, hold on. Hey, Bobby, next time you see Aaron Berg, please send him my sincerest regards. he kind of shut out the majority of us from his former life. I like to think we're all still friendly. I don't talk to Aaron much myself. Bobby does way more, but I can let you know he appreciates everyone that was fans of his. You know what I mean? He really does. You guys, he just was hoping, and you should just. He doesn't have to come to you. You go over to him. He's very findable with all the things he's doing. Follow Aaron Bird. He's doing awesome shit.
Yeah, and he's putting awesome comedians out to answer your question, Kevin. August 8th, 9th, and 10th, you could see us recording his next one, Pat Oates, at the Comics Mohegan Sun. We would love to see you there.
Check this out later. Then he put nothing. What is it?
It's the post earlier, Scene Queen.
Oh, okay, cool. I will definitely look that up.
Sorry, my ADHD was in the chat all the time today. I'm like, no, I know where they go. I know the order.
No problem. So but you can do that is just get us our views up there. Also like, subscribe, all those kind of things. Join our Patreon if you like this kind of show. We do this one on Thursdays. You do it later. If you join over there, you can get in the comments as well on that side. When you're over there, we do that Thursday. So it's only $3 a month to be over on Patreon. You get all the shows that you see on here. You get them over there as well, plus bonus content and our Thursday exclusive show. And Bobby and I are talking. We've been joking about it, but pretty soon I think we'll be bringing back. Well, it'll go on for a long time. Bringing back a show we did a while back called a segment we did called 15 or 19, where we would take pictures and have people come on, and we would have you guess if they're 15 or 19. We got a lot of comedians very scared they're getting canceled. But
Tracy Lord would be the ultimate at that game.
Yes, we're gonna do that over on the Patreon coming soon. So join the Patreon there. Like, subscribe if you don't mind, please. And thank you. Share this with people so they can know it's around. We really appreciate you guys being here. And join us tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. for our Friday edition of POS. We'll be doing our thing where we cover stories that are trending that day and find the piece of shit in those stories. Very nice to see you, Dead Fool. We don't get to see you often. Very nice that you got to jump on. We appreciate that. All our regular guys, Terry and Ricky and Kevin and Kish and I think was Clownface here today? I don't think so. I think he was.
No Clownface, but we had Dominic.
Dominic was in the house. Kevin always being a staple. All our people that were there. We appreciate all you guys being out there today. And those who don't jump in, we still appreciate all of you. We're happy. I would just watch too. I wouldn't say shit. When I watch Brendan, I barely say shit because I don't want to get yelled at. But we appreciate you guys all being here. I hope you have a wonderful fucking 4th of July. And remember, when you see people out there on the 4th of July and they're doing stuff because they're allowed to, because it's a freedom, just look at them and go like, boo! Why are you being a fat lady wearing spandex when you're too fat to wear it? Boo! But that's her right. It's your right to boo her. But it's also her right to be a big fat lady doing her 98th Amendment, I think is what it is. Because that's the size of her pants, 98.
I thought amendment just meant hot dogs because she's about to win this contest. Go cheer on.
They had to amend her pants because they split. How about that?
It's not getting better than that, folks. Thank you for tuning in to Thursday Thoughts. If you can't join them, make sure you beat them.